Hey, my name is Brandon, and I'm an executive chef here at Creative Dining Services. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm glad you could join us because I just came back from Italy, and one of the main things I learned was simplicity. So today we're gonna make homemade pasta because it's super simple. Do not be intimidated by homemade pasta. It only takes a few ingredients and does not take any special tools, but it'll really impress your family for a special occasion. So let's get started. So today we're going to be making pappardelle. We're making that because you don't necessarily need a pasta maker in order to make pappardelle. It's really easy to hand cut. And we're going to use semolina and all-purpose flour. If you want, you can sub with all-purpose flour. We're also using eggs, olive oil and water, and a pinch of salt. And that's all there is to it. Okay, to get started, we're going to make a mess here. We're just going to pour both flours onto the table. Get all that out. And I like to make a well in there, like a big volcano. And then take your eggs, dump them right in there. Olive oil and water. Last but not least, very important, some salt. Yeah, a little more, I'll pick. So I'll just get my hands right in there. And what I do is I kind of grab flour from the edges, just so you don't break the dam, until you're confident enough to really start mixing. And I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna feel wrong at first because it's gonna look all messy and you're like, it's not coming together. But that's the beauty of pasta. You think the Italians care that they get their kitchen messy? No. Now we're starting to come together, and many will ask, how long do you need it once you got it all together? The true answer is, until it's smooth and together. Probably takes about 5 minutes. At this stage, we're starting to actually knead. So what I do is I press, turn it a quarter turn, fold it over, give it a press, and I'll just keep repeating that. And there, I've got a perfect piece of dough. I like to flatten it, because it'll be easier to roll out later. And then I'll cover it, wrap it up nice and tight, and let that rest in the fridge for 30 minutes. And that's when all the water will go into the flour and hydrate it properly, and make it a lot easier to roll out later. Okay, so you've let your dough rest in the fridge for 30 minutes. You've had your glass of wine, you're ready to show off your muscles. And to get started, I like to flour my surface. Not too crazy, but you know, do the old trick of flicking it across. And then I'm actually gonna split this dough in half because you're not gonna wanna roll all this out at once. It's gonna be too much. So just set that aside. Kind of square it up. A little flour on top. At first I'll hand press it just to get it into a shape I like. And then grab your rolling pin. The main key to rolling out pasta, or any dough really, you start in the center. So you start in the center, roll out. You don't have to turn it, you can go both ways. Kind of realize how long it is. So how long you want it, that's how wide I'll roll it. But it's gonna take a little bit of effort, not gonna lie. If it starts sticking a little bit, flip it over and just apply a little more flour on the other side. Now, if you have a pasta roller, This is the stage in which you're, rolling it through rolls, and you can use the cutters, that's fine. But today I'm showing you how to use just a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, use that bottle of wine. Roll it out with a bottle of wine. Since it's homemade pasta and you're making this for a special occasion, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if it's a little imperfect because then they can tell you made it homemade. I'm getting pretty close here. You can kind of see, can almost see my hand through there. You want it a little thinner than that, but that's what you want. You want to be able to kind of see your hand through it. If it's a little thick, it's not the end of the world, it's just gonna cook longer in your pot. And you notice I pick it up every once in a while just to kind of loosen it from the counter. Make sure it's not sticking. Finish rolling it out. Should be about that. You can kind of see my hand through it. And now we're ready to cut it. You can use any knife you got. You can use your bread knife. I use a French knife. It's just don't slide it. When you go to slide it, it'll kind of deform the noodle, the pasta, and it'll make it like a curve. So what I like to do is just go along and I just press. Pappardelle is just a little fatter than a fettuccine noodle. But if they come out fettuccine, then you just tell your family it's fettuccine. And they're happy with that. And I just eyeball, because like I said, they don't have to be perfect. I'll take a little bit of flour, sprinkle it over them. I'll kind of bunch them up and toss them in the air. It's a good trick to get them all separated, and you've got pasta. Now that we've made the pasta, we are going on to making fresh pesto. And once again, very simple, very easy to make, and few ingredients. We have basil. I just picked off the leaves from the stems. I like to take the stems out because they're harder to blend in the blender. We have fresh lemon juice, very important. Take a lemon, cut it in half, squeeze it out, have fresh lemon juice. Makes all the world of difference. Parmesan, pine nuts. If you don't want to use nuts, you can eliminate them completely and just add a little more Parmesan, or you can toast up some sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds and add those in place of the pine nuts. Then we have 2 cloves of garlic, extra virgin olive oil, and then of course, kosher salt to season it. So let's get blending. I first start with the basil, and the reason I do this, I like to put the fluffy stuff in first, because then they'll get pushed down by the heavier stuff. Our Parmesan cheese. Told you this is gonna be easy. Pine nuts. Garlic cloves. I know we're gonna put measurements, but that's 1 whole lemon to make it easy on you. A couple pinches of salt. We're gonna wait on the olive oil. We're gonna drizzle it in while we're blending. All right, so we're gonna start it on low and rev it up to about medium if you can, if you have adjustable. If not, just set it to medium, turn her on. And then once it gets going, I'll slowly add the olive oil. And voila, pesto. We're ready to cook our pasta. So we start with boiling water. And before we start cooking the pasta, we're gonna season it. So add some salt, a decent amount, but it doesn't have to be too crazy. Just a couple of handfuls. Once you've seasoned it, we're adding the pasta. I put it on a cutting board so it's just easy to transfer. and you want to kind of just drop the pasta in a little bit at a time. That way there it doesn't all clump up. Grab your favorite pair of tongs or spatula, give it a stir, let it come back up to a boil. That's when you start a timer. I usually go for 5 minutes. It'll take 5 to 7 minutes for the pasta to cook. Now that we've cooked the pasta, I've removed it, put it in a bowl so that I can toss it easily, and I've reserved some of the water in the pot just in case I need a little extra moisture for the sauce. And all we're gonna do is take all of our pesto. Might look like a little bit a lot, but all of our pesto, put it over, get all the good bits from the bottom. If you want to and you really want to clean it out, you can always rinse it with a little bit of pasta water from the pot. You can use tongs. I all of a sudden decided to use a spatula. Could go either way. But you're just gonna toss it. And the key is to do this right after you cook the pasta so that it's still a little warm. It will actually absorb all that. And from judging this, I would say that's saucy enough, so I'm not gonna add any more pasta water to it. Nice and coated with the pesto. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. We'll take our plate. Little twirl of a serving. Little Parmesan. Little fresh basil. Now that you've seen how easy fresh pasta can be to make, why not give it a try? Just remember to have fun and be creative.